Hey guys, today we're going to talk a little bit about rain sensors. I'm a big proponent of rain sensors. A lot of issues here, especially in the summer with rainfall in the middle of the day, 3:30 in the afternoon, when the heat index is 105 plus, and people think that that water is going to percolate through the top 8 to 12 inches of soil before it, evaporates, which is not the case. So that's one of the reasons, that perception versus reality reason. Plus, you have scientific watering versus reactionary watering. So a lot of customers will shut their timers off because they feel like we've had enough rain to sustain their turf grass, and the reality is that we have not, and they will suffer the consequences because of that. The evapotranspiration rates are so high. The water lost to the atmosphere from the plant perspiring, as well as the evaporation of soil moisture and things like that, is just incredibly high. So we have to replace that water every 3 to 4 days during times of usable water, 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. So anyway, the sensor, you set it to active, set it to a half to 3/4 of an inch. With the wireless sensor, you can only set it to a half, which is fine. And then it will run the system scientifically. Rather than you thinking that there's enough water and shutting your sensor off or your system off, the sensor will communicate with the system and do it scientifically. It'll monitor the rainfall, the atmospheric moisture, all that kind of stuff, and shut the system down. So use them. You cannot water better than a sensor. Like I said earlier, reactionary watering, you already have a problem. So now you're trying to fix a problem rather than just having your turf on cruise control. So let's not fix the problem. It's like taking preventative measures yourself. Do you want to get sick or do you want to prevent being sick? It's the same thing. Let's prevent being sick. So utilize the rain sensor. Don't be a caveman or a dinosaur and think that you know better, because you don't. I don't, you don't, none of us do. Use the water or the rain sensor. They're incredible. They're there for our use, and they'll make all of our lives much easier, and they don't waste water. So you're not going to see irrigation running in a rainstorm. So anyway, here you go. I'm going to show you the rain sensor and what it does and all that good stuff. So this is a wireless sensor. This is the Rainbird. There are wired sensors. There are Hunter. There are numerous sensors out there. This is a Rainbird sensor. There are many like it, but this one is mine. Just kidding. This is the actual sensor that mounts outside and collects the water. There's a cork in here that expands when it gets wet, and it'll click the switch, and then this sensor, once it does that, will send a message to this, which is wired into the timer, this controller interface right here, and shut the system down. And then once this cork inside here dries out, it will get smaller and the switch will reset, and then it'll turn it back on. Very simple, but they are amazing. So this is the controller interface. You can, it just wires into the timer, and it looks like this when you open it up. And you can set it to 1/2 inch. You can set the temperature you want it to shut down at. Very versatile. You can see the sensor right there on the left is mounted to the clip, so that you can use that as a gutter clip, and it'll clip onto the gutter and stay there. Or you can see the screw holes. You can screw it into a fence post or wherever is best, wherever that particular property it would be best to put it. So anyway, that's a wireless sensor, and we will look at one in action here. So here's a Rainbird timer and the wireless controller interface for the Rainbird rain freeze sensor. Set this thing up so that it shuts it off at 1/2 inch of water, and I believe the factory setting is 37 degrees Fahrenheit. So either of those will trip the sensor. So this just wires into the timer, and it will automatically run the sensor, or the system, excuse me. The old sensor, as you can see, was this wired, and it runs all the way through the other side of the house, through the attic, through the other side, and connects over there. So I will go over there and show you what I'm talking about. So you can see this irrigation is on. You can see the old wired sensor to the left. Climb up the ladder here, bear with me. So I have cut this, and I'll remove this. This new Rainbird wireless freeze sensor, rain freeze sensor, comes with a convenient gutter clip. Mount it right there. Also want to mount it where it's not under all of those oak trees and stuff like that, which makes these wireless sensors so great, because I can literally take this off and put it where I need it. So above us, there's nothing. All around us, there's oak trees. We don't want to put it in there because it's going to not get a great reading, get somewhat of a false reading. So anyway, I'll trip the little sensor inside. So this collects the water and shuts the system on and off. So what I will do is simulate rain. Bear with me, and you'll see the irrigation shut off. Okay, so I've tripped the sensor, and that shuts it down. And I'm gonna let the sensor go. And once this communicates with the timer, it'll turn it back on. There we go. So I'm a big proponent of these things. As you can see, they work great. You can move this anywhere you want to go. I'm gonna put it right back on there. You can move it if we need to, but this is a pretty ideal spot. There's no obstructions above it. So it should be able to sample atmospheric moisture, rainfall, things like that, and scientifically run the system, removing human error from the equation.